Hey, will somebody bring me a Smirnoff while they're up there?
Yeah, I'll bring you one. There you go.
Thanks, bro. Take care. Dude, what the fuck?
Hello. I'm a little under the weather, bear with me. I've been looking for a way to make up for some missed content. I had an off week, I didn't put out a normal episode, and I did release a clip, something that got cut a long time ago, but I don't feel that really does it justice, so we just had an episode where I didn't get to answer questions, therefore I am now going to answer those questions. And I apologize in advance. I am, again, under the weather. Please know that this won't take place of the normal episode that's coming out this Friday. Yeah, let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy. So the first question asked of my amazing team when we were cabining last week on the soda episode was, what Disney film have you never gotten into? I mean, the thing that always comes to mind for me is 101 Dalmatians. I did watch it pretty recently with my son, and it's really not a bad movie. It doesn't grab me. I don't know. For some reason, Aristocats was always the one that got me, even though I would probably consider myself equal part dog and cat person. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the title. 101 Dalmatians. Am I really going to be keeping up with 101 of these fucking dogs? Probably not. And that's the expectation it sets going in. And so I have trouble remembering a lot of things about the story, apart from there being a Cruella de Vil who wants to murder all these puppies for their fur. And fails, I should add. She fails. The next question in our illustrious lineup. I'm fucking clean shaven pretty much, and I don't know how to handle that anymore. I'm so used to just the manly fur. I don't know. What's a good reason to not vote? Now, this one in particular, this is part of why I wanted to do this. I would take issue with some of what Rayburn had to say, because she does seem to mirror the opinions that I used to have with regard to voting. When she talked about how to not vote is essentially to say that you're not expressing an opinion. And I used to think that was the truth, or that was true. You didn't have a reason to bitch if you didn't get out there and, express your desires or what. But that's assuming that your desires, that what you want to have happen in the country, are expressed on the ballots. And I no longer really believe that they are, for the most part. I mean, and a good example of that is that we've got races going on, but like there are bodies, collections of politicians who are supposed to represent a very specific viewpoint. So take the Progressive Caucus, for example. They are not endorsing Nina Turner right now. Instead, going with the corporate sellout who has been recommended for ethics violation investigations, and she's taking money from big oil. She's not representing these things that I care about, and I have no interest in voting for the lesser of two evils anymore. My opinion, a good reason to not vote is to send a message. So the message you send is, you have not earned my vote, and I think your vote should be earned. You shouldn't be shamed for not voting if your opinion is not expressed on the ballot. You can always say we're voting the lesser of two evils, but that's gotten us to a country of Republican and Republican light. I don't know. Don't vote if you don't want to vote, though. She got that right. Is every human life precious? A smarter person would have thought about this question before hitting the record button. I've not. I'm going to try to give a kind of middle of the road answer. It's nuanced. So no, every human life is not precious in the general sense, so long as there is a lot of human life. But if we're talking about a world in which all that's left are a handful of the different sexes, and they're all murderers and criminals or child rapists or whatever it is, I still consider that precious life. Because plenty of good people the entirety of the species have come from lesser forms of human consciousness. People that did much worse things than what we're used to now and considered them normal, or at least were able to get away with it. Society wasn't as structured around this notion of, justice at all times. It was just propagation of the species. So at some point, I do think, even though there would have been social consequences, rape was probably looked at more leniently, even though that pretty much universally disgusts me to say. And if it came down to just a handful of individuals and they were all these cretins, I still think those lives are precious because that's all that's left to carry the conscious flame forward. And people like you and I have all come from that sort of person at some point in time. It's the same reason why when we look at kids who come from rapes, or come from incestual abuse, that sort of thing, we don't necessarily assume that because they are from that lineage that they're going to follow in the footsteps of the person that, made them exist. I just don't think you can hold the children responsible. And we've proven that we can do some pretty amazing things as a species when we want to. Next up, and let me make sure I'm getting this right. What's something you once thought would be a bigger part of adult life than it is? I did go ahead and think about this one for a minute, and I'm going to be perhaps a little too brutally honest in a somewhat sad way here. Vacations. Man, I thought vacations were something that just happened all the time because I think they used to. They don't anymore. We just work nonstop. Everyone in the house works. We work all the time. We come home from work, and when we're not cleaning or taking care of the kids or paying bills or doing all the things that need done at home, you're working on your side hustles to try and make even more money than you make at your 40-hour-a-week jobs, because that's the state of the nation. Ran out of space on my phone. Let's try that again. I saw something recently talking about how Elon Musk, for instance, makes $16 million per hour. What do you think that does to the economy? What do you think that does to the middle class? And you may say, well, people should be able to get as rich as they want to be, but there is definitely a finite amount of resource evaluation going on here, We can't all make $16 million per hour and expect the valuation of goods to remain the same. I don't really think we should allow anyone to make $16 million per hour. Because now we can't take vacations as adults, and it sucks. And before we move on, I just wanted to add that my answer shouldn't have seemed as shallow there at the end as it did. It's just that I was talking about it in relation to what I thought would be a bigger part of adult life. And primarily that is time away from work. We don't have it. So, some pretty interesting statistics, but I think pretty soon the middle class will be gone and there will be no money left to squeeze from the lower classes. So, that should be interesting to see. Hopefully some things change. How many times have I been to a strip club? That's this question. I can only really think of 2 times. I'm pretty sure there were other times, but alcohol, So riding along with people at the end of the night, or just riding with people to see how the night goes. But I don't have any crazy stories to tell about strip clubs or anything like that. My experiences, apart from my own idiocy trying to get into the places, find people, or the things that the people I was with got into, I don't have any stories myself. I very rarely take money up to anybody when I've been. I don't get lap dances or do any of the crazy stuff. Yeah, just enjoying myself. Mostly it's about having some drinks and laughs. There are definitely nice visuals, and I feel bad that I've not thrown more money that way. Also, to be clear, I feel bad that I've not thrown more money that way because I think it's a very hard way to make a living. The money can be good, but what's asked of you in return, even if there's no side hustle at the place or anything shady going down, just the notion of having to get up and go be naked in front of a bunch of people for money, it's more than a little degrading. I know some people love it. I know they do. It makes me happy that some people love it, but most people who are in the industry I don't think love it, and I find it hard to get that out of my head when I'm in those places. Final question here is, I don't remember it. If you were going to spray paint something on a train car, what would it be? It's stupid, but my signature. I don't know. I still like the look of it. I'm still really happy with it. I hate going to a place and being told that I have to write out my last name as well. It's like, do all artists go through this? Creators, if they've got some weird signature. I've seen people who have the X, Make me print my name somewhere or something, but take my signature for what it is, damn it. I want to spray paint it on the side of a train car. Yes, I do. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning into this aside, and I look forward to getting a new episode to you on Friday, which is hopefully more enjoyable than this. It will definitely have alcohol this time. That much, I assure you.
God, you shaved today, didn't you? I'm crying. So good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Love butthole. You like it, don't you? Yeah, love butthole. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, spank me. Oh, take your finger out of there. Oh. I'm just kidding, put it back in. Yeah. So good. Stop slapping my balls. God, that was good. I need a cigarette. Yeah, cigarettes. Did everyone ejaculate? Everyone got it. Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, I got it. I'm done, dude. That's good. Oh. Alright, we're all done. I love you. No condoms next time. Yeah. Yeah. Love you. Hairy balls. Love you.